As Charlie got older, she began to realize something. She didn't really like boys. She only really liked girls in this timeline. And yes, I know in the canon timeline she liked both, but in this timeline she'll just like that. As she grew up, though, she began to get more power, more responsibilities. Eventually, her mom would leave her, and she would leave the hotel upset, as she felt lonely, as she didn't really know what to do, as she felt, well, sad. One night, she'd be at a bar, as she'd be enjoying herself, getting a drink here and there, as Charlie didn't really know what to feel, as Charlie's whole life has been numb ever since her mom left her, and her father went into depression. She had no one. Until Velvet would walk up to her. "Oh, you're the princess. Care to have a little dance?" Velvet wanted to manipulate the princess. She heard the Lucifers and the Morning Stars were, well, they were shut-ins. But if she could influence the princess, maybe she could have power. However, Velvet made a mistake. As Charlie would start to get into the music, as Charlie would start to get into Velvet, she would start to like her, as she would hold her hands and kiss. Velvet just went for it so she could have power. As then she went back to her place, and they had a fun time. As Velvet got out of the bed, she started to leave. As then Charlie would say, "Where are you going?" Velvet would say, "Oh, I'm just going to enjoy some time with friends and spend time with my business. Maybe you should invest, Charlie." Charlie would say, "I'll think about it." As Velvet left, Charlie would feel anger go through her. How could she leave her like this? As Charlie would decide that she wanted this so-called love, and she wanted it now. Velvet was so cute, she must have her. So she would pull out her old spell book and begin to read it. And she would learn more demonic spells, mind control, forced love, and things like that. Until finally, she was ready to make Velvet hers. She would just sit on her bed and wait for her all day until Velvet walked in and said, "Charlie, you're still here? You're supposed to leave. I know you're the princess," but suddenly, Charlie would summon tentacles as they would grab Velvet. As Velvet started to struggle, she couldn't move, as Charlie's power was immense. In this timeline, she trained and mastered her power. As Charlie would say, "You're mine now. You're gonna be good, understand?" As suddenly a bright light would appear, as Velvet would wake up next to Charlie in some strange room, as she would hug her and say, "I love you." Charlie would say, "I love you too, dear," as they would both kiss. As now Velvet was her wife, but she wanted more wives. Charlie needed more women. She needed more beautiful people to be with her. But as she was walking out one day, she would see Vaggie. Charlie couldn't believe it. She just stared at her, and she laid down there hurt. As Charlie would help her up and heal her, she would bring her back to her place. Velvet wouldn't be staying there. Velvet would stay at a building that she rent out, like a hotel. Charlie's dream was to fill the hotel with cute girls, to fill the hotel with people she could love. But right now, it wasn't there. As Charlie and Vaggie started to talk, Charlie wanted to get to know Vaggie, get to know her personality before she did anything. As they would both agree on a date, as Charlie and Vaggie went out on a picnic. As the picnic went well, Charlie and Vaggie would look at each other as they would start to eat and talk about each other's lives. Charlie would talk about how she felt lonely since her dad's been depressed, and that since Lilith left them both, and Vaggie would open up a bit. Vaggie would be hiding a dark truth about her being an exorcist, which Charlie in this other timeline would be more informed, so she wouldn't know, but she would have a hunch she was hiding something. As Vaggie would start to talk about her Earth life, where she came from, and why she is the way that she is, Charlie would say, "I think this date went well." As then Vaggie and Charlie held hands, they then kissed. Then Charlie and Vaggie would kiss. As Charlie would lead Vaggie to the hotel, Velvet would answer and say, "Hello, love. See, you have another girl for the collection." Vaggie would say, "What the F is she talking about?" As suddenly, Charlie would push Vaggie down and begin to cast a spell on her. As Vaggie would stand up, Charlie would say, "Who do you love more than anything?" Vaggie would say, "I love Charlie." As they would both hug her and say, "That's good." As she would have a fun time with her. As they would both watch TV, laugh, cuddle, and do those types of things and get closer together as they bonded. Vaggie and Velvet were the same person. They just loved Charlie more than anything. However, Charlie wanted more. It was time for her to find someone new. As Charlie was watching TV, laying in bed with her two most favorite people in the world, something would come on, Verosay and Mayday. As she sung her song, she sounded so beautiful. She sounded so sweet. As Charlie knew she needed to have her. As Charlie would go to one of her concerts, and then after the performance, she would go behind stage. Hey, Verosay would say, "Who let? Oh my God, it's the princess. How are you? So, you want to go out to dinner sometime?" Verosay would say, "I'd love that." Verosay and Charlie both go out to dinners. Verosay would say, "Do you think I'm dumb? I know what this is." As Charlie would start to get nervous, she looked around. He was in public. She couldn't do it in front of everyone. As then Verosay would say, "You brought me on a date, didn't you?" I got to admit, I never thought the princess herself would ask me out. So, what brings you here? Charlie would say, "I heard your music and it sounded beautiful. And I started to look into stuff about you, and well, I liked it." "Oh, thank you. You could be in a couple songs. Princess and pop star. You think it could go well?" As then Charlie would smile and say, "Yeah, I do." As Charlie and Verosay would then laugh, Verosay would then walk home. As Charlie would go on a few more dates with Verosay. Verosay, however, would always bring out her bodyguards. No matter what, no matter where they were, she would always bring them out. As she was making sure that she was always well protected, that she was always well taken care of. As Verosay kept her bodyguards near, Charlie could never get a chance until one day Verosay trusted her enough as they met her in her room, and Verosay and Charlie started to make out. As then they had a good time, a good night. As they woke up, Verosay would say, "That was amazing." Charlie would say, "Yep, and you're definitely worthy to join." Verosay would say, "Join what?" Suddenly, Charlie's eyes would turn red as Verosay would walk back and fall on the floor. As Verosay would say, What are you doing?" As Charlie would say, "Relax, relax. You're joining something pure, beautiful, something perfect." As then Verosay would scream, she would wake up in the hotel, cuddle in Charlie with the other two, as Charlie would laugh. As then she would throw a party with them three. As Verosay, Mayday, Vaggie, and Velvet all wrapped their arms around Charlie as they said, "We love you." As Charlie would say, "I love you too." As she would give them all a big kiss, smiling, happy with the girl she had, but she just needed a little bit more. As Charlie craved a little bit more, as Charlie needed a little bit more, she was happy with them though, as each day grew better and better. As she started to make dessert for Vaggie, she started to do stuff for Velvet, and Verosay sung songs for them. It was beautiful. It was amazing. However, Charlie just knew a few more could make things better. As Charlie would call a meeting with Camila Carmine. As Camila Carmine would have a meeting with Charlie, they would both continue to talk to each other. As Charlie would say, "So, Carmine, you're an overlord, right?" "Yes, and I realize you're doing business with some pretty strong ones yourself, and you always hang out with them." As Charlie would start to get nervous, as she felt like she was understanding what was going on, Camila Carmine would say, "You must form a pretty strong group of women. Can I see them?" Charlie would smile and say, "Of course." As she would bring her to the hotel, as Camila Carmine would see them dressed in cute outfits, Camila Carmine would say, "I don't understand." As Charlie would grab her and say, "You're mine now." As suddenly she would fall in love with Charlie, as they would all cuddle and all have a fun night together. Charlie truly felt happy. She felt like she had so many people under her, as every day they would play games. Every day they would treat Charlie like a princess, like a queen, but Charlie still wanted more, so she had an idea. Her idea was to make this hotel a hotel for her girlfriends, and to make it so they would get her more girls. As she called a meeting, Vaggie would say, "What is this about, love?" As Velvet would say, "Yeah." As Camila Carmine would also agree. As then Charlie would say, "I want more. I want to be happy. I want more love, so I want you to all to bring them to me." They would all look at each other and nod as they would bring her more and more. As the hotel became a haven for Charlie's group, became a haven for girls that Charlie loved. As Charlie would live in paradise, as princess, and as queen to all of the women that she loved. And that's going to leave things out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with all your friends. Hope you enjoyed this video, because I know I did. This a little weird one. I had this idea, what if Charlie fell in love with a bunch of people? And originally it was going to be like wholesome and stuff, but I usually do that all the time. So I was like, I'll just make it an evil Charlie, why not? But I'll make her care about them, add layers to it. I don't know, I thought it did well. And I have like many different title ideas, but some of those I probably shouldn't use, so I'll try to keep the title PG. Please don't unsubscribe after what I just made. I don't blame you if you do, though. But yeah, I do think that this video will be adequate, though. I hope you all enjoyed it, because I enjoyed making it. And today is a good day, just I've just been gaming, working on my channel, things like that. Yeah, it's always nice to have a little day to relax and play games and see what you're interested in again. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that I think I should try out. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And I heard like a quote, and I'm not the one who said it. I don't know where it's from. It's just like life is like the wind, and you're on a boat. You can't change the wind, but you can change your sails. Basically, you can't determine how your life will go. You can't determine what happened to you. All you can do is determine how you react to it and what you do with what you have. And sometimes you make bad choices. It's okay. We all do it, We're only human, and some choices are worse than others. And especially when you're out on your own for the first time, you don't know what the heck you're doing. You could easily get, I'm definitely, yeah. So anyway, if you're all out there trying to make a tough decision or something like that, some people write things down, some people go with their guts. They all have different answers, they'll have different ways to do things. There's no wrong answer. Just, here's my advice. Do what makes you happy, but also do something where you can survive. Do something where you can stay in, where you don't go in like deep hot water. That's my advice. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much for supporting me. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much. And if any of you want to make content, any of you want to make what if videos, like has-been videos, I will shout you out 100%. And we can do a crossover or whatever. Because like the more YouTubers like this are, the better. So yeah, thank you so much. Love you all. Peace out.